Have you ever wondered why a piercing whistle or a constant hiss haunts your mind like a ghost, slowly draining the joy out of your life while no doctor can provide a satisfying explanation? Stop whatever you are doing for a second and listen closely. That sound is not coming from the room around you, it is emanating from deep within the center of your skull. Conventional medicine might dismiss it as age-related tinnitus and offer superficial advice to just live with it. However, I am here to tell you right now that this noise is not your destiny. It is a biological SOS signal, a desperate alarm bell from an auditory nerve that is being starved of the vital fuels it needs to function. Today, I am going to show you exactly how we are going to shut that alarm off for good. For those of you over 50, persistent ringing is not just an ear problem, it is a symptom of cellular nutrient starvation. Be sure to stay until the very end of this video because I will reveal a golden food combination you have likely never heard of that can soothe the noise almost immediately. I see patients in despair every day like William, a brilliant 62-year-old architect. 7 months ago, William sat in my office as a ghost of his former self, having gone 3 years without sleeping more than 4 hours a night. He told me, "Dr. Mattheus, the tests say I am normal, but I feel like I am losing my mind." The truth is, normal in medicine is often just a statistical average of a declining population. When a doctor sees your vitamin B12 at the bottom of the range and checks a box, I see a nerve that is literally stripping away its own insulation, sparking like a frayed copper wire. Every spark is that high-pitched beep your brain is forced to process. It is a neurological short circuit caused by a system that fails to understand neuronutrition. Today, we are going to dive deep into the 8 specific phantom sound killers that conventional medicine is missing to finally restore your silence. 1. The fragility of hearing and the neural synchrony mechanism. To understand why the ringing won't stop, we must acknowledge the incredible yet fragile sophistication of the auditory system. Deep within the inner ear labyrinth, where the secrets of sound reside, lies the labyrinthine artery. This vessel is thinner than a human hair, so microscopic that single red blood cells must line up just to pass through. Imagine when the body faces chronic inflammation, or when blood viscosity increases, this tiny pipe constricts violently. Consequently, the hair cells in the cochlea, the factories converting vibrations into neural signals, suffer from oxygen starvation. When starved, they don't just wither, they begin sending glitch signals, creating the phantom sounds you are currently enduring. Based on breakthroughs from 2025 research, we recognize that tinnitus is actually a brain failure to filter and discard these disturbances. This phenomenon is known as neural synchrony, where clusters of auditory neurons get stuck in an electromagnetic loop, causing your brain to constantly process a sound that doesn't exist in reality. If we do not improve microcirculation to clear these microscopic vessels, your brain will remain locked in that chaotic cycle. My philosophy is simple. We must nourish the cells from the root to restore order to your auditory nervous system. 2. Zinc, the antioxidant shield and the invisible killers. Let us examine the ultimate line of defense called zinc. I am not talking about cheap effervescent tablets. I am referring to an essential element concentrated at extremely high levels in the inner ear to protect hearing. You must know that the auditory process generates a massive amount of free radicals, and zinc acts as a sturdy shield preventing oxidative devastation. Without this protective layer, auditory cells will literally rust, leading to irreversible degeneration. Have you already started incorporating zinc-rich foods like pumpkin seeds into your daily meals? Please comment number 2 below. However, a heartbreaking truth in America is that many consume zinc but fail to absorb it due to invisible killers. These are phytates found in overprocessed grains or excessive caffeine, which directly hijack zinc before it reaches the cochlea. I once treated William, who believed he was eating very healthily, yet his habit of consuming high-interference foods meant his efforts were flushed down the drain. We completely transformed his regimen by introducing high bioavailability zinc from pumpkin seeds and clean proteins while eliminating absorption blockers. Within just a few short weeks, the rust on his nerves began to clear, and for the first time in years, William felt peace return as the volume of the hiss in his head significantly dropped. 3. Medication toxicity and the loss of nerve insulation. Now, I must share a truth with you that may be quite shocking. In your persistent efforts to treat tinnitus, you might be unintentionally introducing agents that harm your very hearing organs. Modern medicine in the US calls these ototoxic drugs. The concerning part is that they exist right in your family medicine cabinet, from common pain relievers like aspirin to anti-inflammatories often used for rheumatism. These compounds directly attack the microscopic hair cells in the ear, triggering a devastating storm of free radicals that completely overwhelms your zinc and magnesium shields. If you rely on them regularly for joint pain or headaches, you are effectively fighting fire with gasoline. My protocol for William began with purging these hidden toxins and replacing them with herbal anti-inflammatories like curcumin or boswellia, giving his auditory system the space to revive and breathe again. However, zinc supplementation is only one part of the campaign. We must pay special attention to the insulation layer of the nervous system. Think of a high-voltage power grid. If the protective rubber coating is stripped, the system will constantly buzz and spark. That is exactly what is happening inside your auditory nerve right now. A deficiency in vitamin B12 causes the protective myelin sheath to degenerate, a process we call demyelination. As this sheath thins with age, electrical nerve impulses begin to leak, and your brain interprets that interference as endless buzzing noises. I want to emphasize that if your lab results are only at 300 or 400 pg/ml, that is still a severe deficiency for a senior with tinnitus. We need to push this number toward the 800 pg/ml threshold to truly activate the optimal repair mechanism. Have you already checked your vitamin B12 levels to protect your hearing nerves? Please comment number 3 below right now. This is why William's doctors missed the mark. They only cared that you were not sick, whereas I aim for your most perfect recovery. 4. Glutamate and the role of magnesium and vitamin D3. Why does the ringing in your ears tend to intensify when you are under pressure? The answer lies in glutamate, a neurotransmitter that acts as the gas pedal of your brain. When stress surrounds you, your brain releases glutamate massively into the auditory cortex. If you lack magnesium, the natural brake pedal, you fall into a disaster called excitotoxicity or excitatory toxicity. At this point, your auditory nerves become so hyperstimulated that they fire too fast and too hard, eventually destroying their own structures. This is the devastating glutamate storm, the very reason your ears scream after a long, exhausting day or restless nights. You must proactively reset this braking system by flooding your inner ear with bioavailable magnesium found in almonds, avocados, or dark leafy greens. We are performing a delicate technical adjustment to lower the gain on your internal amplifier, commanding your nerves to find their calm once more. Have you enriched your diet with magnesium-rich foods to soothe your auditory nerves? Please comment number 4 below. Furthermore, if you still believe vitamin D is only for your bones, you have missed the medical breakthroughs of this century. Clinical research in 2026 has confirmed that vitamin D3 is actually a powerful neurosteroid. It holds the controls for hundreds of genes in your nervous system, including those directly responsible for maintaining the auditory pathway. Clinical evidence reveals that individuals with chronic tinnitus often have significantly lower D3 levels than healthy people. I often describe D3 as a construction foreman. If this foreman is absent, all cellular repair efforts stall completely, leaving you trapped in an endless loop of inflammation. In the US, the habit of avoiding the sun or overusing sunscreen has pushed your D3 levels into the gutter. Spend at least 15 minutes in direct morning sunlight or prioritize foods like wild-caught salmon and eggs to provide your auditory nerves with the essential currency they need to repair themselves and restore your silence. 5. Auditory circadian rhythms and blood flow solutions. Have you ever noticed that the piercing beeps often become more intense around 3 a.m.? Many mistakenly believe it is simply because the room is quiet at night, but the profound truth lies in the circadian rhythm of your auditory system. As night falls, your body activates a system-wide repair and neural reconstruction mode. If at this time your bloodstream lacks essential building materials like zinc, B12, or magnesium, the repair process stalls significantly. The brain, in a desperate attempt to find a clear signal, automatically amplifies faulty electrical impulses, creating a distressing neural feedback loop. To break this cycle, my treatment philosophy is to transform your final meal into the most nutrient-dense resupply of the day. By timing your nutrient intake to match your body's self-healing cycle, we force the brain to recognize corrected signals, eventually silencing the unwanted noise. In addition to circadian rhythms, we must confront another physical barrier: blood viscosity. Your inner ear is nourished by microvessels thinner than a human hair. When the body is inflamed, your blood becomes sluggish like thick sludge, preventing transporters like B12 and zinc from reaching the cochlear hair cells. This is where omega-3 functions as a biological lubricant, making cell membranes fluid, flexible, and vibrant. When you combine omega-3 with natural vasodilators like ginger, garlic, or ginkgo biloba, you are essentially opening the floodgates for your blood flow. I witnessed this remarkable transformation in William during the 4th month of his protocol. He exclaimed, "Dr. Mattheus, the noise is still there, but it feels pushed far away. It no longer dominates my mind." This is the promising sign that nutrient-rich blood has finally reached and nourished the exhausted auditory nerve. Hearing rescue dinner and a message of hope. So, what does this practically mean for you tonight? I earnestly want you to commit to my auditory rescue dinner protocol. We are talking about a piece of wild-caught baked salmon for its rich D3 and omega-3 content, the foundational bricks for cellular membrane restructuring. Pair that with a generous salad of baby spinach for magnesium and sprinkle a handful of raw pumpkin seeds for essential zinc. Finish it off with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, fresh lemon, and a grating of fresh ginger to jumpstart that vital microcirculation. This meal provides a massive biological payload of exactly what your ears have been starving for over the years. Do not expect a miracle in 24 hours. Your nerves took years to deplete, and they will take at least 3 to 6 weeks to show signs of true recovery. William didn't just regain his silence, he reclaimed the very quality of his life. Just last month, he sent me a photo of himself at the park playing with his young granddaughter. He told me, "Dr. Mattheus, I can finally hear her pure laughter again without that high-pitched whistle competing for my attention. This is why I do what I do. I challenge conventional diagnoses because you deserve to experience absolute silence when you go to bed tonight. I want you to share this wisdom with someone you know who is suffering, as millions are told there is no cure when the solution is literally sitting on their dinner plate." Write to me in the comments. Your stories are the fuel for my next research projects. I am Dr. Mattheus, and your health is the only metric that matters to me here at Kidney Health 365.